Fix errors, waste, and issues in a couple of clicks. Get alerted whenever you're off track. Sign up at trueclicks.com.
Wix Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises to manage clients and projects with max efficiency, sharing Wix's SEO tech to help you drive growth.
Good morning, everybody. So hopefully you've all learned something very valuable already, and hopefully I'm going to give you something else to think about today as well. So I'm going to be talking about micro moment marketing. So this is to do with those micro decisions that everyone's making on a daily basis, okay, those intent-rich moments. And we're looking at it based in an AI-powered world. Why? Because AI is a hot topic right now. AI is apparently going to be taking our jobs. The fear is very much real, okay? Apparently that's what a lot of you think, at least. 2 out of 3 people in this room will be thinking that AI is going to take their job within the next 5 years. And it's not hard to understand why. There was a big boom over the last kind of year where AI came in very much like Jareth in the Labyrinth, and he was like, love me, fear me, do as I say, and I will be your slave. So somehow we have to navigate this, because there's a whole mix of emotions going on when we think about it. You know, where do we fit in? Do we turn this way? How do we integrate this into our businesses? So yeah, how do we navigate this? And that's what hopefully I'm here to do today, to hopefully give you some pointers on how we can start kind of creating a bit of a content strategy that's going to future-proof us. So what first is actually changing? Well, first off, we know that Google is trying to help us along the way. There's a whole load of stuff going on around us. And it's given us lots of guidelines. It's trying to help users, one, with this decision fatigue that we're finding, but it's also trying to help those people that are providing actual value. So you've got big old Ludo here, or Google, and then you've got us over here. So it is trying to give us that helping hand. But yeah, what's changing? So first off, AI-generated content for one. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have had a play with AI-generated content, whether that's photos, videos, blogs, all sorts of stuff. There always seems to be something slightly off with it, though, I find, or at least at the moment. It's still, you know, in its development phases. I actually asked it to get me a picture of David Bowie wearing an I Love Brighton t-shirt, and it didn't even know how to spell Brighton. And then, yes, we have also how search engines are viewing AI-generated content. And I'm sure you'll have heard over the last day or so about how, you know, if people have created content, put it on the websites, all AI-generated content, and then after a few months, after seeing a massive incline, there's been a huge decline in organic traffic. Okay, so we know that Google is penalising people for this. And it's because of the whole spam policy. Don't be mass producing content that's not adding value. So we've always got to be making sure whatever we produce has additional insights, experiences, or just something that's going to add a bit more value. And if you're onboarding a new client, so if you're in, sorry, that's me. If you're onboarding a new client in an agency, or if you're starting at a new company, or if you've had content created by somebody else and you're not sure, is it human, is it AI? There's a load of tools out there. There's Positional, there's CopyLeaks, SEOMrush, all have tools where you can actually analyze your content, see, is it AI generated? Now, another thing that's changing, and this is going to be the focus for today, is, well, AI-powered search, more specifically, Google SGE. Again, a hot topic for Brighton SEO this year. And it's not hard to understand why, again, because SEOs are scared that it's going to take their organic traffic. There's a lot of people out there thinking this. And this, again, we're going to look at this. We're going to look at why they're worried. And it's because of how things are changing with what we're looking at when we're searching in Google. So I did a search for gifts for a Labyrinth movie superfan, which, if you didn't know, is me. So I looked and I was like, okay, well, let's look at that particular micro moment. It's a purchasing micro moment, okay? So I have intent to buy. But actually it's a gift, so in terms of context, it's probably for somebody else. So this is what we see initially. Then we can view more, and this is what it looks like. And the organic listing is all the way down here, okay? So that's not what we're used to, and I'll do a comparison in a moment as well. But what I really want to draw your attention to is this particular section. So when we're looking at product-based, and we're looking at maybe that purchasing signal, it's categorizing everything. And it's looking at different types of categories. So it's thinking outside the box. Do you want general movie stuff of The Labyrinth? Is it character specific? Or maybe it's product specific? So we need to broaden out our product categories if you haven't already. Hopefully, you know, it's something that is going to support you now, but it's also going to help support you in the future as well. We then did another search, very similar, but a bit broader, Labyrinth merch, which then might be for me personally. And it's another type of view that we're seeing. But what we're seeing again is that you can really quite easily break down the different types of categories, sizings, all sorts of different things. So we're taking into context and trying to find the right item for the right person. So what we're finding when we're looking in the SGE results is that it's really trying to engage people on the actual search engine itself. Rather than necessarily sending people straight through to lots of different sources, it's keeping you on the platform. And then we also have the comparison here. So you've got SGE over there. We've got this one, I believe, on the right over here is the standard view. You've got your promoted sponsored posts at the top. We have the organic listings. That's what we're used to. And as I say, those organic listings on SGE are all the way down there, which is quite a dramatic change. Okay, so we do need to start thinking about how we're structuring things and how we can be found in SGE if that's going to be the future. We then did a service-based search. So again, it's another purchase micro moment that we're looking at. But we're looking at a slightly different view again. Now, I'll point out towards the bottom here, again, it's trying to anticipate our next steps. Again, this isn't new, and I'll show you again in a second what that looks like now. But we can see it's like, well, what kind of questions would this person want to ask next? Well, okay, well, maybe if we look for a really good agency, in the heart of Rutland, in the UK, and you can see, I want to point out this particular section, the reviews. So it's actually looking at Google reviews and it's summarising them, and it's also pulling out keywords. Now, I know so many different people, clients and other businesses, I always look at their Google reviews, but I know there's also a lot of other review platforms out there. What we know at the moment is it's using Google reviews. That might change, but if not, it's definitely something to start thinking about now. So getting those review processes in place. We then looked at informational. Obviously, we want to cover all bases here. And I mean, it's very much the unknown. I'm not going to say that I profess to know everything. But again, we start following that process. So we're looking at, okay, well, when was the movie The Labyrinth actually brought out? When was it filmed? And I go down that journey, you know, the next step. And the information or the links it's actually pulling in that information from, it's not really enticing you to click through. Now, these news sites, blogs, and all these informational sites make money from people clicking through and often being served with ads on their platforms. So how are they going to make their money? Because, yeah, that's not really that eye-catching. It's not really making you want to click through to them. And the information is already being served on the platform. So yes, as it stands right now, SGE is going to take your organic traffic. And there's been evidence to suggest it could be 20 to 60%. It could even be up to 80%. There have been some tests done. There obviously have been different websites that have been affected by this already, and they have seen 80% drops. Now, it's not to say that everyone is going to say that or experience that. So I don't want to put the fear in too much, but it's a potential. It's something we need to start thinking about now. So how, oh, use that instead. Is it on? Oh, hello. So how do we navigate this? Well, as digital marketers, when shots are fired, we dust ourselves off and we get back up again. That's what we do. We've got to remember we are not in free fall and help is at hand. That's what we're here to do today. Okay, so I'm going to help guide you through some of this. Okay, so how do we grow our share of intent? Well, we already know that we're making so many micro decisions a day, 150 on average. It's a lot. So yeah, as I mentioned, we're getting decision fatigue. So Google is trying to help us anticipate those next moves, make our lives easier so we don't have to think quite as much. So how do we break down these micro moments? What do they even look like? Well, there's a variety. They can usually be broken down into 4. So we have I want to know, I want to do, buy, and go. Let's go back. There you go. And these micro moments are where, we can actually influence that buyer. So whether it's a purchasing decision, actually like Araminta mentioned earlier about the competitor content would be a really good micro moment. We might be in a shop and we're looking to buy a bottle of wine or a piece of Labyrinth merch. And you're looking, okay, well, again, like which one do I buy? That's a micro moment. So we need to be showing up for those types of searches. And we need to anticipate the next steps. Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier about Google's obviously doing this in SGE, but it's not new. So we already have the people also ask section. So when we're entering in different queries, like I did earlier, it's saying, okay, well, what does this person want to know next? Apparently it thought I wanted to know whether David Bowie wore a codpiece in the Labyrinth. And I mean, as a super fan, I know what that is, but just for reference, if you don't know, it's that. But something that's always stuck with me since school, it was actually a history teacher that told me, was assume nothing, but question everything. Okay, so yes, we've got to think about the context. We can't expect and assume that somebody's going to take one particular journey to find us. Okay, so we've got to think outside the box a little bit. Is it a product that they want to buy in the day or in the evening? And then what kind of situations are those people in? So how do we find this information? Well, all of you, I will be sure, at least 90% of you will have heard of Also Asked and how to play with it. And it gives you so much information, with various different keywords. So you can start thinking about the questions that you can answer within your content. Maybe it's FAQs, blogs, guides. It provides an endless stream of information. So there's really no stopping you. And there's also this tool here. So this is Positional, which I mentioned earlier with the AI versus human content analysis. This tool, you can actually put in existing content as well as looking at new content. But you can put in a content piece and you can look at your competitors and say, well, are you answering the questions your customers are asking? Are you doing it well? Are you doing it not so well? Or not at all? And then obviously you've got a bit of a plan of what content needs improving. Another thing to note, and something just to keep an eye on with these guys, they're about to release a new feature, which is what is nobody answering in terms of the question. So none of your competitors, where you can start thinking about closing some of those gaps. And we can analyse the content. So if we're going to be doing that, we need to look at our existing content. Where can we make improvements? Start closing those gaps. But we also need to make sure that it's short. It's got to be short and it's also got to be conversational. And you've also got to make it personal. You've got to draw on your personal experiences and insights. We don't want to be just mass producing content. It's got to add additional value. And if you haven't already, I highly recommend testing SGE. Now, it is being tested in the UK as well now. But if you want to have a look, I mean, we did it by ExpressVPN. So you go here, you go to this link. Let's leave that there a second. Go to this element here, sign up, and then you can get through to all of these tests here. Okay. So if we start doing that, start testing different queries that we think, our customers might be asking, then we can start to close those gaps. Okay, we can start boosting coverage and we can actually get found for more of these micro moments, these intent-rich moments that people, they're asking these questions, they want us to answer them for them. Okay, so we need to make sure we're enhancing our on-page content. Now that comes down to the category content as well as blog content. Okay, and you have to consider context. You have to. Broaden out those categories. Think about the different situations people are in, who they're buying for. Is it something for them? What position are they in? Is it a particular role within a company if they're looking for a service-based company? And encourage those reviews. I mean, that is massive. Okay? Summarising reviews and pulling out keywords so people don't then have to go and, consider lots of other research. It's doing a lot of the work for them already. Okay? So start thinking, is there a way for you to encourage people, your customers, to be mentioning either certain products, certain services, names of people, so that you can start hopefully being found for the right searches, and obviously and encouraging other people to inquire. And what I would say is don't delay. There'll be loads of people saying this. I've heard this since I've been here as well over the last day or so. But yeah, start testing it out now. Don't think that it's not going to happen. It's happening. It's happening already. It's not going to then be rolled out overnight. It's going to take a lot to get into a good position, but it's worth getting ahead of the competition and start working on it now. So do start working on it. Now, I've covered the kind of rough basics. I've given you some information, but if you are interested in more information, I've got loads. So if you'd like more information, if you want to prepare for SGE, you want a bit more in-depth information on AI content creation, you can get our guide here. So you can request it, follow that link. And my team are also going to be sending out some tweets with links as well that you can go and click on. And for those of you that are a fan of this guy, I really hope you know who he is, my mate Ludo. If there are any fans of this friendly beast, I love to give something away. So we're actually giving away an art doll. It's worth 350 quid. If you don't want it, I'll have it quite happily. But if you're interested, or you know that you've got another fan in the family, you can actually enter to win him here. And hopefully that'll make someone's day. And for those of you that don't know what The Labyrinth is or have never seen it, please, please, please go and watch it. It's an amazing film. There's so many pop culture references in it. And it's David Bowie. Who doesn't like David Bowie? You can watch it on ITVX. And I do believe it's going to be released on Disney Plus as well very soon. Don't quote me on that, but I have heard that it's going to be going over there as well. So yeah, hopefully I've given you lots of stuff to think about. If you've got questions, feel free to connect with me, message me, and yeah, get in touch. You can also download my slides, they're already up there. So there's loads of extra notes and other stuff in there as well that you can get hold of. But yeah, thank you very much. You've been amazing.
Demand Sphere. Limitless visual insights from the SERPs. Unlimited dashboards and users. Easy to use and easy to scale your growth to new levels.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.